Hello, 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 hello. Today is Monday Fun Day, April 22nd, 2024. I just want to give people a chance to come on. I know I'm a little late. I want to make sure we don't have that echo going on. Okay, so it's Monday Fun Day. I know we're changing the time because normally I come on a little earlier, but it just wasn't convenient for me. I need to get a chance to just come in, relax, and try to then volunteer my time. So it's not as much of a rush. I got to hurry up, and then I'm, even more nervous than normal with all of this camera and all these lights and everything. So if you've been looking for us at our usual time, remember I said it in the very first episode, ring the bell because you never know what time I'm going to come on or when I'm going to bring a guest or anything like that. So, just stay tuned. I'm going to keep it spicy. I'm going to keep you on your toes. You're going to have to ring that bell because, yeah, you're not going to know. Okay, so anyway, well, you're going to know because we do inform you, but I'm just making jokes about the time. So there's that. So I would like to say that, I've always been the type of person who volunteers my free time for different organizations, groups, and people in need who cannot afford the services necessary to improve. This live stream is my volunteer time to help with that. So, Adroit Living is an interactive live stream for the purpose of improving global mental health and markets. I use global studies and sacred studies as they relate to current events and trending mentality because some communities and people seem to be a bit more aware of trends than others. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss the latest trends and seeing what's going on and what's popular and how it relates to various studies and current events that supported trusted studies, that is, and current events. It's a live interactive stream, so please feel free to participate. Hey, Eddie, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. So yeah, like, subscribe, and share, and also comment, ask any questions. Today I'm going to be answering questions because that's what a lot of people have been doing. So in my volunteer time, a lot of times people just want to ask questions, and they may want to get into more of the grit of the questions, and that's when they have to inbox me. I don't trust many things. I don't know what that means. But anyway, I'm always examining myself because it's what I was taught in church. But when I look back over my life, I see running themes. Have you ever look back over your life and saw a running theme of things? A lot of times people say, well, I need to improve myself. How do I do that? And they look back over some things in their life and they say, well, man, there you go. So that's an example of how sometimes you can examine yourself and the situations you've been in and just, make some changes. But it seems like God keeps showing up and showing out for me despite myself and all my unknowing ways. I constantly hurt him by failing to understand his love for me despite whatever happens in my existence. I'm disappointed in myself a lot of times for not being smarter about it all. So when I look back over things and I'm like, man, I wish I'd have caught that a little bit sooner, or I wish I could have did something a little bit better. But, it all works out in the end. So I'm really happy about that. Yeah, go ahead. But I don't know what that means. That's what I meant by that. Elaborate just a little bit. But anyway, I don't want any, backhanded apologies of if I hurt God, or I'm just saying, I may not know exactly how I hurt God, but I know I can't give credit where credit is not due in certain things that I do in my life, especially when God gave me the mind and the life experience to keep a redundant level of records of what I'm doing, to track what I'm doing, and to keep it in safe places for later releases, if necessary. So I was talking to someone earlier this week, and the person had encountered some credit card problems. You know how you go to a patronize someplace and you swipe your card and suddenly, there's a problem with the money. And it's like, yeah, I tell everybody, get different cards and different accounts and transfer money over into that account. For example, I personally have different accounts, and I name those accounts shady business or whatever the dealings is that I'm dealing with that particular organization that's attached to that card, so I can easily track who's doing what, when, where, and why. So I was able to find some things that I think you're going to find really interesting later. So yeah, stay tuned for that too. If you want to know more about that, ask me questions. Get in the comments and ask any kind of questions that you want. So today I'm going to ask you to, just ask some questions so I can answer or address anything that I did in a previous episode or things that you might want to know. Sometimes people comment about the aquarium behind me, and I'm in a zone mentally trying to get it out of my head, get the thoughts out of my head that I'm trying to convey in the moment, so I don't go as deep in the aquarium question as people may want to know. So, last episode, I admitted I make different social media accounts thinking nobody's gonna, see it. I'm just watching, seeing what's going on with trends. But there is this one account that I did open up to the public to let them know. One Sexy Red Rose is on TikTok, and I post videos of my aquarium. Not just the one behind me, little clips, but the one, the 75 gallon. Let me show you the 75 gallon aquarium. Now, this aquarium is like over 20 years old, and it is still going. It's daytime, and it's in front of a window. A lot of people say, you can't put an aquarium in front of a window. That's just bad. You're just asking for problems. No, you can put an aquarium in front of a window. This is a really good custom-made aquarium. Eddie gave me this back when we were courting. We courted for about 7 years, and then we got married to everybody's surprise. Like, okay, surprise, surprise. But anyway, this aquarium was custom made, and the person who made the aquarium was like, this aquarium is built for life. You're not going to have any problems with it. It does not have a base, a solid foundation base. It's all glass aquarium underneath there, and it's made to last. It has lasted through many military moves. I can't even tell you how many military moves we have, and those people are not exactly as professional as you would like or delicate as you would like for them to be. Hey, Jackie, thank you for joining. Please feel free to ask any questions you may have about anything from previous episodes or the aquariums. A lot of the times I did not answer the questions about aquariums, so I'm trying to get to them now. So that aquarium, that 75 gallon, in the other slide over here, you can see something black hanging from like the top. Those are the filtration systems. It's 2 of them. Even though it's only a 75 gallon aquarium, it's still like 2 really heavy duty working machines that's filtering the water. It's only really one is to help filter from the custodial workers that's in the aquarium, like catfish, plate coals, and other fish that like neurite snails and things like that, whiptail catfish, some keely loaches that help to get rid of detritus worms or any kind of things like that. Detritus worms is worms from dirt. You may look in your aquarium and look on the glass and see something crawling on the glass. It's like, what is that wiggly white thing? Or your glass is a little whiter than normal, and you're like, what? Why is it always? Well, it might be a little dirty, and the detritus worms may be building up. They start microscopic, so it looks like a film of dirt on the glass. It is not necessarily just dirt. It's microscopic detritus worms. So you might want to get like a keely loaches. Achille loaches are very friendly. They do not harm any other animal in your aquarium. I'm still fascinated on your explanation of the thorn in the flesh. I know, right? So what part about the thorn in the flesh are you fascinated about, so I can answer directly what you're saying? Thank you. Thank you. Now, see, these aquariums are more of a hobby than a habit. A habit tends to eat up your finances, whereas a hobby tends to be something that you do as a stress reliever to help you balance, what's going on with your work life balance, school life, um, just life in general, to help with stressors that you may be enduring in your life. And it's just beautiful to look at. A lot of times I look at it and I fall asleep. But it's very, very low maintenance for a human involvement. I don't get in there and clean the aquariums like all of these other hobbyists. And I'm telling you the secrets. So like, share, and subscribe, and ask me questions, because I don't know what you don't know. So I don't spend a lot of money on these aquariums. I'm not paying to purchase chemicals to help the water look that clear. I am not cleaning it every day. I don't clean it once a week. I don't clean it once every 2 weeks, maybe once every 30 days, maybe, or a little bit over 30 days, to include the aquarium behind me, but they run on two different filtration systems. For example, on the one over here, you can see there's two filtration systems, and they're both heavy duty. That even though the aquarium is only a 75-gallon, each one of those filtration systems can handle up to 100 gallons, 110 gallons. But they both do something different, because I hacked it. I hacked the filtration system so that it'll carry a higher bio load. For example, the box on the furthest side, you got two boxes, one on this side and one on this side. This side over here is more filtering. This side over here is more polishing. So this side over here, the filters are it's got some cartridges in there. It has the what is it called? What do you call it? The carbon filtration as well. It's got a couple of those bags in there, and I purchased my carbon separately, because I've been in this hobby for over 20 years, so I'm never going to not need that sort of supply. So I purchased it in bulk on Amazon, and then I just use that to hack it. And I purchased some mesh bags to put the carbon filter, the carbon, what is it? It's like little rocks, and it's like filtering the water. You know how you have your coffee and there's a little filtration bag with these little black balls in there, black rocks in there? Well, it's like that, and it's filtering the water and keeping the water clean. And then there's a sponge attached to the cartridges that I purchased from the maker, the penguin, emperor penguin maker. So that's that one. And the other one is a titration system. Um, it's polishing. It's mostly polishing. It has one small sponge in there. That's taking all the big materials out, should it be any. And then there are some there's a mesh bag full of that carbon again to help filter the water. So the water stays really, really clear. You can see from one end to the other, because the glass is like, see-through on all sides around it. So you're not just looking straight on and see through it, but you can look from one end to the other. So the 75-gallon is about 4 feet in length, and you can see from one end to the other, clear through it. And then you can see from this aquarium behind me, you can see straight through. It's about 7 feet, and you can see from one end to the other clear. But the funny part about the one behind me is it runs on a different filtration system. This one behind me runs on a sump system, and I use a different type of filtration to it. It's called the I went off camera. It's called the sump system from Aquarium, a custom aquariums. They have these filtration socks that are really big. I don't know if I can get that. Look how big that is. This is and the water goes through there and it filters out. Now I took this out after um I it was like a month before I found out that my father was in hospice, and I was going to do a show on it, and I put that sock in there, and I didn't get back to change that out until maybe, I don't know, 4 months. It took me 4 months to, even want to do anything. But anyway, I took it out after 4 months, and that's how dirty it is. It was this clean before. It was this clean before that, and that's where the water goes in. And this hook here holds it in place. And look, it's bigger than my face. But a lot of other people sell these kind of socks, which pale in comparison to how big these things are. And you don't want a small sock because that's your filter. You don't want to have to keep cleaning the aquarium. Even after those 3 months, I still didn't necessarily have to go in the aquarium and clean it, but I did just to get things off my mind. And I over cleaned it, which made the water a little cloudy. So yes, it is possible to over clean these aquariums and it'll look cloudy. Mostly the plants are doing all the work for me. And then the custodial workers are also helping and pitching in, doing all the work. So you have your neurite snails, you have your whiptail catfish, you have your plecos. Those are algae eaters. You have a multitude to choose from of algae eaters and other custodial workers, the engineers. Okay. But then you have the shellfish, the pretty colorful fish that's going to swim around and be entertaining, like those glass fish up here, and the big discus back here, and the rainbow fish, the discus up under here, and these funny colored neon tetra. You have all kinds of, and then there's the little guppies back there, here. You have all kinds of different type of shellfish, but those fish, they need a clean environment. And you need like catfish of different varieties and a number of them. And it all depends on how many you have to be able to say, okay, that's enough. If you're cleaning it once a week, you don't have enough custodial workers and you don't have enough plants. That's the thing. But I don't spend a lot of time trying to, go in there and clean it, because the plants are not only helping to clean the aquarium, they're providing oxygen in the house and making the atmosphere a lot more breathable. And they're cleaning the air that I'm breathing, not just the air that the fish are breathing. So that lowers my need to use humidifiers. It lowers my need to purchase the filters for the Havoc system. And I also have some pothos growing on top of the aquariums. You can see that on my videos, Sexy Red Rose on TikTok. And I show various details there where you can see a lot more about it. So I'm not going in there and cleaning that. And the fish are fine. Everybody's living and thriving. You make sure that the temperature is good. And I don't do very much. I top the water off and pretty much just enjoy watching. And I don't spend a lot of money trying to buy a bunch of filters. I clean the filter off. I just clean the big filters, the white ones I showed you. I wash them. I'm not going to buy a bunch of filters. And that's expensive. That's a problem. That's not a hobby. That's a habit. The habits take up all your expenses. Let me get to some of these questions. They're piling up on me. I like when you stress that we all have things we struggle with, but God's grace is sufficient. It's not saying that you can still do what you want to do. Well, you can, but there's consequences you would like to avoid. But yeah, I wouldn't suggest that you continue doing things that's harmful. So she says it's not saying that you can still do what you want to do, but the thorn is a reminder that God's grace is sufficient. Yes, with the thorn. Yes, with the thorn. Everybody has problems and you just got to live through it. God is so strategic as he handles us individually. Yes, a lot of people feel like, when you have a problem, you did something bad or wrong, or you're not in God's will for your life. That's not the case. Oftentimes, when I have studied various Western and Eastern religions, I noticed that everybody in those books have some thorns, whether they're in a family like Siddhartha, the Buddhist. He had some issues in the family, and he was like, well, I'm not really in line for the throne, but I'm in line for the throne. And he had issues with following the set religion of their Eastern faith, that if you're born into it, that's the one you're going into, especially if you're the king, you're going to go into this particular religion. So that was his thorn. And he was like, I'm not cool with that. That doesn't agree with my spirit. So he went away to find and study more, even though that was unorthodox and people did not like that. So that there lies the thorn. When people are, pestering you because you're unorthodox or you're not doing what they want. It's a difference between what man mandates and what God ordains. So a lot of times when man mandates something, we are in God's permissive will, as opposed to when we are following what God wants us to do and we are in his direct will. So yeah, you live this life with thorns, whether you acknowledge those thorns or not. And it's not always to say that you're having a problem because you did something wrong, but to say that you're strong enough to live through it. So live through it. Don't cause yourself any harm. Live through it. She says, I used to have fish, but I got frustrated with the upkeep. I may think about doing it again. Yeah, a lot of people are upset with the upkeep because it can be expensive. You pay all of this money for these fish to live, and then they die. So you go to, these large markets with PetSmart and Petco. I've been shopping with them for over 20 years, and I'm diversified in my shopping, though. I've since the pandemic, I've been extremely more versatile in my shopping experience, and I have posted easy aquarium hobby, where I share in that episode exactly where I purchased these fish, exactly how much they cost, what you can expect, etc. So check out that easy aquarium hobby episodes on YouTube, and then go back on TikTok and check out those aquariums. This is a very easy hobby. It is very inexpensive. You just got to ask the right questions and know where to purchase these fish from. I give a whole lot of hacks so you can avoid a lot of problems. What you say, Clyde? Thank you for joining. I need this knowledge, trying to get closer with God, but I'm bipolar and the meds sometimes help and sometimes don't. Thank God for people like you to show positive attitude towards such problems. Thank you. Thank you. So this is the thing about medicines. A lot of times, so my lifetime, my academic career has been in research, deep research, global research. And I've noticed a trend in various things because I'm interested in a lot of things, more like an anthropologist as opposed to a psychologist who is more singularly focused on the human mind and behavior. I'm more a big picture type person. And an anthropologist looks at a lot of different things. So, but a lot of people don't know what an anthropologist is. Check out my previous episode where I explained just a little bit more in detail. But for the purpose of this show and not having a whole lot of time, I'm going to explain some things that you mentioned in your comment. So a lot of times the medicines do not work. Pharmacists and and people who are engineering pharmaceuticals, they're testing, they're trying to figure it out. And the human body evolves over time. So we adapt as we evolve. So a lot of the times the medicines that we are using for like blood pressure, depression, bipolar, like you mentioned there, a lot of the times our body is adapting to those medicines, and we are not being taught how to wean ourselves off of those medicines and wean ourselves to a healthier life by doing things like these aquariums that I'm talking about today. We're looking at these aquariums, and you have no idea the significance that it has on your life and stress. A lot of times people are triggered. The bipolarism is triggered by something that's going on. And I don't know how much you know about your situation in bipolarism, but it has triggers. And dealing with these aquariums and helping with mental health is one of the methods that you can use to lessen the effects of those triggers, and even try to, train your body to adapt in a more efficient manner where you do not necessarily need to increase your meds or the doses, the IUs of your meds, the strength of your meds, as opposed to just, kind of staying with that and working your life to better your situation and the triggers. Are those live plants? Yes, those are live plants. Thank you for asking. The live plants are significant in more ways than you can imagine. And I, having asthma and difficulties breathing a lot of times, my home environment, it has to be conducive to being able to breathe, especially so I can sleep. I can't sleep if I can't breathe. So yes, the plants are helping with the air in your home, the air quality, as well as it provides life for my garden, my grass, my trees, my bushes, and my pothos that's growing outside on the tops of the aquariums. Because I kill plants. I can't do it. I kudos to anybody with a green thumb. My mother has a green thumb. I can't do it. Eddie said, I read a book, It's Poisonous to Eat the Fish Out of Your Fish Tank. I wonder if you could get a large tank and raise catfish that could. You would have to make sure that you are raising the fish in a type of environment where it's more natural, as opposed to all the chemicals a lot of people put in their fish tanks. I do not put any chemicals in my fish tank like that. I use the stress coat that you can buy from like Petco, PetSmart, or something like that. No one sponsors me. I have not currently accepted any sponsorships because a lot of times sponsorship means censorship. So I don't want to be censored. I want to tell the truth because that improves mental health. A lot of times the things that are factual are not necessarily things that like pharmacists or any other research studies will really want to put out there. They want to sugarcoat it or make it seem like, vague. So the problems are more vague than you can realize. Speaking of my mother, what about buying snails and catfish? You may have covered this already. I'm just coming on. Hey, that's fine. Great question. In my aquarium hobby, easy aquarium hobby episodes, I list where you these what is it? Actually, I listed where you can buy everything that I have in all of my aquariums. And I also listed the prices of those things. So, and the prices vary. The reason why I use those particular people, and I asked them before I shared their information. So I'm courteous and mindful of others, and they gave me the permission to use their names. And I even tried to tag them in it but my life gets so busy, I didn't have the time. But I currently have a lot of time because I am done with my PhD studies. My dissertation is accomplishing the goal that it was set to go for. So I'm going for something different now. But yeah, you can buy, I would suggest neurite snails, not mystery snails. Mystery snails can take over your aquarium and cause significant problems to not only your plants, but your fish, because it'll pollute the water after a while. It's evasive. It's going to overcrowd your aquarium and it's a pest. I would not recommend it, but some people do. And then they tell you, oh yeah, you can buy this to get rid of it and buy that to get rid of it and buy this to treat it and buy that. I'm not about that life. I'm not going to lie to you like that. That's stressful. And I'm just not going to do that. I like to be relaxed. And that's why I have the show on at this hour, because now I get to be a little bit more relaxed, wear my PJs. So this show is sponsored by my PJs, podcasting in your PJs. If you want to know where it came from and you want to clear a picture of the full outfit, it's a short set, but it's, you know, it's actual. So it's versatile for when it's cold, like today. And you can have a t-shirt on underneath it and take it on yourself to put it on or off or sleep in it or not. But the outfit came from Amazon. Read my reviews on there. So yeah, this is my PJs. That's why I'm so comfortable. And it helps with the whole stumbling over my tongue, because yeah, I do that when I get nervous, and I do some other really, really crazy things that can be misconstrued as being slower than I am or dumber than I am. And, you know, that's on you if that's, you know, your perception of it, as opposed to it just being understood that I'm nervous and I understand what's going on and I have to avoid it and I have to bridle my tongue, allow God to bridle my tongue, because a lot of times I get triggered just like anybody else, but I have to bridle my tongue. So what'd you say, Eddie? Walmart has a 55-gallon starter kit on sale for under $150. Now, that's great news. But you know what? I'm going to strongly suggest, like I said over here, this aquarium, I had this aquarium shortly after entering the hobby, and I really wish that would have been my very first aquarium, as opposed to the store-bought 30-gallon aquariums that I had. Because when you're starting out something, you can make a lot of mistakes. The grass can crack. It can break. So I would strongly suggest you getting a custom-made aquarium and investing in it that way, because it's, even if you don't have live fish in it, you can still fill it with decor, fill it with sand and have some sort of mosaic thing going on, fill it with sand all the way up to the top, or put some live plants in it and some feeder fish like guppies, and just let the plants grow and you know, fill the tank, and not really have to worry about trying to clean the tank or anything other than just really watching the aquarium. That's why I have so many live plants in the aquarium, because I'm not cleaning it. I know that may sound lazy, but if you think about it, how often are we going out in the real world and cleaning the water? We're actually polluting the water as opposed to cleaning it. So can you have a water box at home and not have to clean it? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And here's how. So that aquarium behind me, I do not clean it like that. I let the plants go through their natural stages of life. For example, the aquarium behind me, I had some company that came over and poured orange soda in the aquarium, and it killed a lot of the plants. But the plants did not die necessarily, more than it died back. And now it's coming back stronger, and it's evolved. So I'm just allowing the aquarium. So if you saw if you've been following me since the conception of the Adroit Living live streams, you've seen how big and bulky and, you know, the plants were. A lot of plants were in there, and they were extremely big. And now it's starting to regrow. I didn't get frustrated. Everything happens for a reason. And I just let the plants, come back as the plants were coming back. And I just watched and kept an eye on it. And the filtration system is over filtered. I have so much filtration on it. Again, go on one sexy red rose on TikTok. There's more details and pictures on there to show you exactly what I mean about over filtering this aquarium and any other aquarium. What'd you say? Let's keep in mind that our stress trials help us to grow closer to God as we put our total trust in Him. Yes, a lot of times we feel like we're encountering stresses and we can't handle it. Some of it's not intended for you to handle completely on your own. It is for you to grow your faith in God, that He got you and He's going to touch your mind so that you can overcome the situation. And He's also going to touch the hearts of man. A lot of times God touches the hearts of strangers to come to my aid. Like some people claim they're helping me when I'm paying for their help. And it's like, wait a minute, you're not really helping me, because if you were helping me, you would know this is wrong and you would know what to do about it, and you don't. And instead, I'm telling you what you should. I'm making suggestions. I'm politely making suggestions as to what you could do to work around these problems, and you're deliberately not doing that. So I'm letting you know, and me telling you the suggestions, politely suggesting these things. I'm telling you, I'm aware that you're lying. You're not trying to help me. You're doing what you're doing, and I'm going to have to tell it. So there that is. It comes with everything. The aquarium set that Eddie is talking about, it comes with the filtration system and everything. However, I would not use those filtration systems that come with those aquarium systems, because a lot of times it's not strong enough to prevent you from having to clean it. Okay, so again, easy aquarium hobbies on YouTube. Check it out. I'll show you how to avoid lifting heavy water as well. And it's really kind of cool because it makes your critical thinking skills just fire off. Your brain synapses are growing, increasing in quantity, and that's helping with lowering your chances for dementia. It's so many things that these things are really good for. I can't really explain. You have to ask the question. Some folks need their meds, but they can use other things to soothe alongside the meds. Yes. And that's why I said, for example, when I mentioned dementia and Alzheimer's, it's not going to stop your brain from developing those problems, but the more wrinkles you get in your brain, because you're adventuring into more complicated things that's making you think, is make your critical thinking skills fire off. And now you're like, man, can I do this in a more affordable way? How can I solve this problem? And it's not related to anything in your life that may be more stressful than an aquarium. So it's basically putting your focus into something more positive, and it's giving you positive stress as opposed to the negative stress that you would normally have when it's things related to your everyday life. So yes, it does help in so many ways, psychologically, emotionally, physically, not just helping you to breathe because it's cleaning your air in your home and keeping you from having to purchase a bunch of those filters in your Havoc system. There's many benefits to it. I want to feed the catfish meat and raise them naturally. Well, you could do that if you have enough space to grow catfish and grow it naturally. You can have a little pool in your basement or somewhere in your house, because people just do different things, and you can do that. You can have a yard. You can have in your backyard, you can have a whole storage unit, and you can make an aquarium system out there where you raise catfish in order to eat them. It's very simple. Just make sure they have enough oxygen. Make sure they have light. You see those bubbles in the back right here? That's not the only source of oxygen in the aquarium. There's a bubble wand that's going straight across as a wand for a wall of air. So there's many sources of oxygen going on in this aquarium because it's 7 feet long. So you have these black things here at the top that's called a gyre. It's agitating the water at the top to bring that oxygen from the inside of the house down into the aquarium. And it's also circulating the dirt and the food and everything that's in the aquarium so that it comes back and it goes in this outtake here to go down into those filters that I showed you. What is it? This is the dirty one. I hate touching it. This one. So all that dirty grit there goes down into that, and it gets stuck there, and you just wash it out. You can wash it whatever way you want to wash it. Go and hose it down in your yard. That would be freaking amazing, okay? Because that water that you're hosing your aquarium down with, that your aquarium filter is being hosed down with your water hose in your backyard, front yard, or bushes, or whatever you got back there in your yard. You can use that hose, put the hose inside of this hole here, put the hose inside of here, and just start spraying that hose, even a power washer, and start spraying it in your garden. That's going to be some good life right there. That's good fertilizer. That's good nutrition. And it's free because you just got it out your fish tank, as opposed to having to go to the store and purchase it. But you can do that as well. But it serves multiple purposes, because now I don't have to go to the store and buy fertilizer. Now, fish smell and poo smell, they're both fertilizers, but I don't know which one is worse. I think they neck and neck, really. But if it's working, that's what you got to do. So yes, the aquarium is like life-saving in so many ways. It's so helpful. What'd you say? Then I want the fish to come home with a rod, and it was okay. Sounds a bit. If you don't need to eat the fish, don't eat the fish. Hi, Shananthi. Thank you for joining. What'd you say, Eddie? My wife loves fish. I support her hobby, but I am not a fish person, clearly. Thank God for sons that can help her with it. Yes. Before my sons were old enough to help with the aquarium, that 75-gallon was easy enough for me to get in there. I can reach in over the top and maneuver around. Don't do like I did originally and use Dawn soap to clean the glass. It didn't harm the fish. I didn't use an excessive amount either, but it's like, yeah, don't do that. Just plain water. It's just rinsing it out with water. You don't really rinse it out. You take a sponge on a stick and you wipe the glass down, and boom, there it is. Then you drain the water. Again, check out my videos where I on YouTube, where I said the title is Easy Aquarium Hobby. You don't have to use soap or anything. It's just water. You rinse, you take the water out and you put the water in, and you rinse off the items. You don't rinse off anything else. And I use really hot water on the sponge that I'm using to wipe the glass, because I want to kill off any detritus worms that may be on the sponge itself. Also, with the cartridges that I use in this 75-gallon, I rinse it with extremely hot water to kill off any detritus worms, so I don't get a population of detritus worms. And detritus worms are dirt worms, worms that grow in your aquarium because your aquarium is dirty. Girl, you better stop, but get PD for this free info. Tell them to inbox you instead. You can get this information for free right now, but a lot of times people don't necessarily look at all of your videos. So I can tell this and I can tell it again and again and again. It'll be new and fresh to somebody every single time. And I can even put it in a book and multiple book series, and people will, read that. And I'm doing to contribute and to improve global mental health, because sometimes you just have to tell the truth. You can't pay for the truth all the time, but if we don't, We have people, self-harming, and they don't know who to talk to or how to do for themselves. But make sure you, if you are having issues with yourself, and you don't know what else to do, and you can't think to live through your problems, remember, you can inbox and ask what numbers you can call, in order to see. And can somebody put that number in the chat for me? Next question. I just realized my name is on here as Eddie K. Phillips. Yeah, that's your full government name. I know. Why is that on there? Not happy about the PJ podcast. Hey, you know how I do. The PJ could be a whole lot, well, attention getting. This right here is just this is what I answer the door in when the doorbell rings, because the neighbors are like, oh, she's been gone, now she's finally home. Let me go ring the bell and ask her a question, or get her to come out and spend time outside. I don't really like to be bothered when I'm at home. When I'm at home, I'm relaxing. So I answer the door and things like this because, yeah, the doorbell is always ringing. You're not dumb. Okay, thank you. This is the annoying part that often talk about love. Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to get through these comments now. I was blessed to find a tank expert that built the tank. Oh, he's talking about this 75-gallon aquarium here. And he was a good old dude. He knows I lived I love I think he wants to say I love my woman. So sometimes I stutter over reading the comments because I know what it says. I know how it reads, but I understand what's trying to be said. No, not lazy, just working smarter. Yes, working smarter with these aquariums is necessary because you want to have some sort of stress reliever that's not also a habit that's eating up all your finances, but it's still contributing positively to your life as opposed to making it more difficult for you in your life. Conception, what this well, I don't know. You have to put that a little bit better than that. I'm commenting a lot, just saying. It's fine. You could comment. This is what this is for. Can I put water snakes in the tank? Keely loaches are like a snake. They are long. They do not bite. They don't have teeth, and they barely can open their mouth. But it's necessary because they're wiggling through the plants, the decor. They're wiggling underneath everything to help keep it clean, so that you can more easily avoid having to get in there and clean it yourself. I like cichlids because they attack each other and have babies. Actually, the cichlids in my aquarium behind me are also in that 75-gallon, but they're hiding. They don't like to be seen. But here you can see this orange discus here is actually a cichlid. They do not attack each other. They do have a hierarchy where they have a pecking order where they'll attack each other for pecking order purposes. Even this rainbow one here by my head, they attack each other for rank. Who's going to be the king and who's going to follow whom and that sort of thing. So it's not to the death, but sometimes it can stress you to death. Well, the fish, it can stress the fish to death. I meant, just like in life, stress kills. Seems like you have a husband that loves you and gets you tanks, even though he doesn't do fish. Yeah, and it's nice to have, because a lot of times hobbyists, the aquarium hobby is a male-dominated field. I'm a tomboy, so there that go. So it's really nice that Eddie helps patronize me with this hobby. I think he does it so I stay home because, yeah, you want to look at it. When you have a stressful day, you just want to come home and look at the aquarium and just relax. Throw something, wash off all the outside, put on something comfy and cozy like this big shirt here, and just recline in your easy chair or rocking your rocking chair and just look at the aquarium and, forget about all the problems that you encountered in your day until you have to, really be bothered with it again later. Tomorrow. Always tomorrow. Unless it's the weekend or a holiday. What do you say? I don't want fish poop smelling vegetable garden. Actually, you'd be amazed that I would really prefer the fish smell over the fertilizer of poo, because the poo fertilizer, it smells so much worse and for so much longer, whereas the fish, using this as fertilizer for your aquarium, from your aquarium to your garden, the smell doesn't last nearly as long, and it's far more nutritional quality, as opposed to the fertilizer, which has to break down far longer and over time. The fish, the way I showed you, you got to rewind. The way I showed you to do it, that's actually penetrating right then in the moment. And after a couple of hours, that it dissipates. The smell completely dissipates. You no longer smell it, and the neighbors are looking at me like, "Oh, you're cheating! You're cheating! You're cheating with your lawn because you can't do that. You have fish taste, and you're using the aquarium water." Yeah, because it works. So I'm not necessarily reseeding my grass. Imagine that. Imagine the money that I'm saving on that, because like maybe 2 times of the season you're reseeding your grass. I'm not doing that. I told you I have a very busy life, and you really have to do everything in your power to eliminate a lot of the stress when possible. And that's when all that critical thinking starts to come into play. I mentioned in the previous episode, Martin Luther, from 1930s, not MLK Jr., but he stated that manual labor is not necessarily a form of work. Intellectual contemplation is actually where you derive your wealth. Look for my book. Look for my book. I'll get into it more with that. Let me try to get over these questions because I'm almost out of time. I help clean that tank with you a lot. Credit to Eddie K. Phillips. What he said. But yeah, he let me know right away. He is not an aquarium person. He is not helping like that. He is not going to the store to pick up nothing. Like, oh, I need a fish. The fish have the engineers have outlived their lifespan, and my aquarium still going. I still want to keep the aquarium going, so I need this fish to help keep it going. He is not going to go to the store to do that, but he does. If I need anything, like really, really need it, he's going to help. So yeah, that's marriage. You do things you don't really want to do sometimes. I had a bad dream about fish swimming around in the air like it was water. I keep the aquariums pretty clean. So sometimes you can look at it and you can think, is it any water? And you'll see the bubbles back there and you're like, oh yeah, it's air. It's water. Yeah. So it's different. It's a big difference. I understand, just asking for sponsorship. Yes. Sometimes people, they do like to sponsor. And I do speak to people like custom aquariums, and whenever I mention them and I mention their products like I did today, I'll tag them in there and let them know that this is a episode where I already asked them if it's okay to do that, and they say yes, and tag them, and they'll compensate me. So it's not necessarily sponsored, but and it's not necessarily compensation, but for the small amount of time that I actually use it, actually mention their name, is compensation. But I can go more into details about it and make it a lot more helpful if I was sponsored. So if Custom Aquariums or any other people that I mentioned in previous episodes, especially the Easy Aquarium Hobby episodes, if they wanted to sponsor me, then I would go into more details and elaborate on it in a significant way that will help them to financially prosper more than just the slight mention of what I do with their products. If you improve my mental health, Yes, I try. And Lord knows, military people, we need help mentally. The military don't get paid like, like a lot of civilians may think. And we don't get paid as much as a lot of civilians do. But yeah, it's like, man, we need help with mental stress. PJs are purchased for me. Yes, but this is definitely not one of those. This is purchased for the purpose of other people to be able to see. You see the other parts because this is a short set and I do not show my legs to everybody. Company sponsor, that is. Yes, I understood what you said. I agree. No, I want to see fish on fish crime. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen. I want to play Lion King Circle of Life and sit in the dark watching the war. You know, the fish, some people think that fish um attack each other, but I have had different fish that they say cannot necessarily live together. They've lived together as because I provide an extremely happy environment. And I do appreciate my husband's support and his jokes. He says, "Hi, mom. It's so great for your husband supporting your hobbies. Great job, Eddie." Yes, it's been a very, very long time. Like I said, this aquarium over here is over 20 years old and it's still going strong. No cracks, no problems. Whomever the man is that sold Eddie that aquarium, that custom made aquarium, was freaking amazing. Okay. God really touched his hands. And he even mentioned that he does it as a stress reliever. He creates these things to relieve stress. And the glass, I've used things that scratched the glass, and it did not scar the glass. It did not permanently scratch the glass. But I was using abrasive cleaners to scratch and clean the glass, and it did not have a problem. I can't do that with this custom aquarium. No, I can't do that with that one because I purchased the system as a whole and it came with the cleaning products and the fish automatic fish feeder. But um when I used the sponge to clean the glass, it scratched it and it permanently scratched it. So I do not recommend, no. With the custom aquariums, I would not do that. I would be extremely careful to use something very delicate and mostly get you some neurite snails and other algae eaters that'll get that off of there for you. Yes, I meant the priest Martin Luther. Thank you. From the 1930s, not MLK Jr. Hey, son. Oh, mom says hi. Yet Eddie Phillips did it when you ask. Love requires you to do for those you love. Yes, and I greatly appreciate you doing things when I really need it, even though you don't want to. Eddie's been there from day one with you and your fish, more than 20 years and counting. Yes, that is true. Eddie and I have been together since I was very young. It's been over 30 years. So there's that. These gray hairs is a big identifier to that I am not a teenager anymore. There's that. What'd you say? Hey, I would like to uh, fish freak out if I say I put a remote control submarine in the tank. It would be fun. Don't stress my fish to death. See, mom knows, love her to be. Yeah. And you know what? It wasn't easy. But it did definitely help with the relationship. I have to mention that. It didn't break despite moving all over the country. That man said it would last a lifetime. Yes. And it really helped with the relationship in the way that we both had something that could distract us from other stressors in the relationship. Relationships go through a lot of problems, and when you have situations where you feel like your spouse or your mate isn't there for you, and then you know that they don't like your hobby but they'll do something for you, it helps you to realize, okay, yeah, I'm so mad. Maybe he might, let me check, let me see. And then sometimes he just does it on his own because he's in the doghouse and he wants to get out. Just jumped on real quick to show his love. Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate the love. Okay, Eddie, there you go. Your craziness. Yes. And that's my time for today. So I want to make sure I break this down just a little bit. Remember, One Sexy Red Rose on TikTok, where I show details of fish feeders, automatic fish feeders, which ones to buy, which ones are reliable, how it feeds, how much it feeds, and details to show you how to make this aquarium hobby easy so that you don't have to pick up heavy water. You don't have to clean it a lot. And the water is beneficial for other things so that you're not wasting water. And if somebody that has a house and they have a yard, sell them your aquarium water. Make a little money. I'm just saying, y'all, my people, keep up the word. Yes. And we definitely support Jesse's show. And we always post it in the Erudition network on the social media outlets that we have, as well as a few other people that we support. So check out the Erudition network on Facebook and other social media streams so you can see who else we support and how we support them and why we support them. There's some good people out here. I love and miss you all. Stay blessed. See, when you're military, when you're about that military life, you don't live at home, your home of record, your home where you grew up, where you were born and raised. So it's a bit of a distance between where I live now and where my mom lives. So yeah. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate your questions and your support. Your book. Yes, I'm going to get into more details about my book. I'm going to show you the pages in the book, even if I don't have the physical copy. I'm going to show you the pages and things because a lot of times there's imitators out here. And I've noticed a lot of times people take my work and they use it for themselves and malicious purposes that are not helping with mental health and improve the global markets and global mental health. So I'm going to point that out, but I have to let things unfold the way they're unfolding so that I can show you, because I can show you better than I can tell you. And I don't want anybody to say, oh, well, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. Hold on, it wasn't like that. No, it was exactly like that. And I give people enough room to let it be known, let it be seen. No spoilers. Oh, these are the spoilers for a reason. Sometimes it gives people enough time to correct their behavior so that it's more desirable as opposed to showing them in a negative light. Because sometimes people make bad decisions for reasons to be in the clique or make their job life a little bit easier to deal with, or whatever reasons that they give. I must go now. Stay encouraged. Thank you. Thanks, Mom. I appreciate it. We have a lot of books coming out. Yes. And these books are going to put a lot of the information that we have given out for free in one location. So you can easily access it whenever you want, and you can get, that information whenever you want. Just go back to that book, and it'd probably be a lot of them. You'll be like, well, where was it again? So go back to the videos. Go back to the videos and watch the videos. Eddie says, good night, Mom. Love you. So I want to make sure that we understand that this is my volunteer time. So I always volunteer, but I don't broadcast it. But this I'm broadcasting. So we can definitely see me as a real person, for one, not just, at the end of my day and I'm coming in, running in, just dressed the same way I'm dressed throughout my day. I'm just relaxed, just chilling, enjoying my free time, because now I'm done with my PhD studies and I can be a little more liberal in divulging what it is that I really do. I didn't want to say anything before, because sometimes when people know, it's like when you're being watched, you act differently. But when you don't know you're being watched, you can see a whole lot of things. And let me tell you what I have seen. Good night, Tina Phillips. I enjoyed the show and stayed because you threatened me slightly. That's the same reason why he go get stuff from the store, from the pet store when I want it. But I'm just saying, I enjoyed it. Thank you. I enjoyed it too. I did not have as much stress as I normally do trying to, talk in front of this camera and into this mic in my face like that. A lot of times because I talk with my hands. And if you saw the show with my mom and I, then you know where I got that whole talking with my hands from. I get it from my mom. My dad also, talks with his hands, but God rest his soul. Butter pecan ice cream break your time. I'm not eating no butter pecan ice cream. I'm gonna go relax. And I started this new game. I know I'm over time, but it's called Last War. And I've really been enjoying it. I'm trying to figure out more about it, but I really leveled up. I do a lot of things to alleviate stress. I don't do just one thing, because what happens if that one thing now becomes your stress or your negative stress opposed to your positive stress? You have to have many outlets for your stress. And I do. What did you say? You do an amazing job. Thank you, sis. I appreciate it. Not you, me. So yeah, you can go and have a break whenever you want. But I'm going to just sit around, chill, and play this Last War game and see what's really going on there. Girl, we so Kojic still on air. Let's track our closing. I know, right? I am so Kojic to my life. I promise you. I'm playing. Okay. I also play COD. So I mentioned that in the previous episodes. But the point of today's show is to show how I'm progressing through all the thorns in my side. I mentioned in previous episodes how my dissertation is globally trending, but the school that's accredited refuses to give me my award me my acknowledgments for my work. And I'm fighting it. I'm fighting tooth and nail, and I know how to keep going up the ladder as opposed to keep hitting a brick wall with the same people that's lying to your face talking about they helping you when they really are not helping you. They're just trying to get you to pour all of your funds into a ghost mission just to not give you what you have earned. And I don't like to talk about it too much because there's a lot of racial discrimination and a lot of retaliation from whistleblowing and whistleblowing about the racism that was happening. And they've made a lot of changes, but I'm still a victim. So fix that. But even though you're not really fixing it, I'm still going to show all the other things. I would like for it to be a happy ending and show you how the problem worked out, as opposed to telling you this is the problem. So I'm still praying on it and trying to figure out, let it play out a little bit, but stay tuned. And remember, mental health is physical wealth. I think we lost the end. That was the end. Okay. So Teddy, take us out of here. Mental health is